Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, June 12th. It is 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. A few more things here. And looks like we're good to go here. So let me go ahead and send this link out to you guys here in the premium. All right, link is sent out. All right, cool. So as people start to join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. All right, going down to the 8 hour, going down to the 4 hour, down to the 2 hour, down to the 1 hour, down to the 30 minute, 15 minute, down to the 10 minute, and right back to down to the 1 minute here. All right, looks like we're good to go. So, good morning, guys. It is Thursday, June 12th. It is 6:29 right now. We got market opening up in about a few seconds. Breakout for today is going to be a buy if anybody's looking to take it. Yeah, we got a big spike over here from PPI. Not as big of a spike as yesterday for CPI, but like I said, PPI is like the third uh, news event that typically spikes. The ATR is really low right now. It's currently at 12 ATR. So we'll see what happens here when market opens up. But this was the PPI news from this morning. Producer price index. So we got that right there. Market is now open. We'll keep looking here for, let's see the zones. Let me go to the 30-minute time frame. So looks like we got Value high at 855. It's pretty high. So we got a value high up here at 855. Looks like this could be a nice area for rejection. Another one right here at 766. Which lines up with the I'm gonna leave that alone because we have a sessions right there already. Point of control, which is around 758. You got a value low, or yeah, value low right here at 675. And a lower position here at 645. All right, so we got that marked up now. As you guys can see, we have a bit of a messy move right here. Just huge candle right here, right on open. So I'm going to take this off and just clean this up as much as I can. Um, I'm looking for a possible sweep here. If I can get a sweep, I'll look for a possible MPS V2 to follow, but initially I just want to see a sweep here kind of happen. There's going to be two different areas for sweep here, or three areas actually. There's going to be one level right here at the value high, right here at the volume low, or down here at the sessions and news. So we got a couple different areas here where price can possibly sweep from. Basically these three areas right here. So we're going to try to see where the sweep is, actually going to happen at. This is the first possible area of sweep. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen here, but this is going to be the first area of sweep. Looks like it might play through. If it doesn't, then the next area of sweep is going to be down here. So we got this kind of pushing up for a second. Let's see if it actually pushes through up there. 20 point, pretty much TP stop loss for now. The ATR is at 19. It is kind of picking up a little bit, so we'll see. But I'm just looking for a possible sweep here. Once we have that sweep, I'll be looking for the possible MPS V2 to follow. Here is the 1 minute chart. So it looks like price over here projected directly off the point of control. Price is dropping lower. All right, let's see if this sweep here actually plays through. So we got the first opportunity for sweep right here. If the sweep doesn't happen, that's perfectly fine. We'll be looking for, well, we still have to look for the MPS V2 as well. So like what we might get here is we might get an MPS V2, or we might get a sweep into an MPS V2, or if we get an MPS V2 right here, we'll look for a sweep to follow. But we're looking for the storyline here to kind of follow through. So if this is the case where price sets up for an MPS V2 first, then we might have the sweep from down here. But we got to wait and see for that to, actually play through. Looks like we have a huge range right here. So looking at the 1 minute chart, looks like we had some range right here down the middle, and then it ranged back up here. So let me see if I could. So there's a little bit of structure here, the consolidation range. And it looks like it pushed back up to create a new range up here. Messy chart so far. All right, so this sweep here hasn't really confirmed. I'm going to take that off. The next sweep level is probably going to be like right here. Like I said, there's three levels of possible sweep. For me personally, I like going for like the farthest level, like the more extreme level. However, the sweep level is still here. So this is like one level of sweep that could still play through. If this is the case, then that's perfectly fine. We're just going to identify the sweep as obviously the sweep, and then we'll look for an NPSV2 to follow. If this isn't the sweep, then this could be an NPSV2. This is looking more and more like an NPSV2. So we had a sell signal, retracement, continuation right here. This is NPSV2. The only problem with this NPSV2 right here is that it's going to push into the possible red flag down below. Depending on what your TP stop loss is. If you're going for a 30-30, it's probably going to push into that red flag down below. If it doesn't, then if you're going for a 20-20, then it's going to be okay. I don't like how these candles here are super blocky, but this is an MPSV2 if anybody's looking to take it. So this right here is an MPSV2, and it's going to push into a possible sweep down below right here. All right, so MPSV2 currently running. This trade may overlap with the sweep below. So MPSV2 just hit full TP right there. And then this is a possible sweep. The sweep that I would like to take is a little bit lower though. It's going to be down here around like 630, 631. So MPSV2 hit full TP right there. There could be a possible sweep right here at the 631 if the sweep doesn't push up from here. So if this sweep pushes up, then that's fine. That's going to be the full TP for that sweep. But if it pushes down lower, the possible sweep that I would be looking for would be down here. Because obviously I like going for that farther level down below. Again, there's two different sweep levels. There's a sweep level right here at this green line. Next sweep level is going to be at this purple line right here. Nice. Sam got the MPSV2 there for a sell. Looks like the sweep here is going to play through. Not done yet. So we got the MPSV2 which pushed down. We have a sweep that's currently running. There you go, full TP on the sweep. So if you guys took any of these entries right here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in. I was trying to get in at the lower level at the 631 right here. Price didn't actually fill. So um, yeah, if you guys took any of these entries, MPSV2 right here, full TP, we had a sell signal, price retraced, continue down right here on this red candle. And then right here, we had the sweep at this value low. So price is now pushing back up. As price pushes up, you can possibly look for the next sweep, or sorry, not the next sweep, the next MPSV2. All right, so there you go. There goes the first setups for the day. These setups came at a point where, I would have figured this to be a little risky, so it's all good. My entry, I was trying to get in from down here for my sweep, but the sweep already happened. So we'll now look for an MPSV2, and then after that MPSV2, another sweep. We got some structure right here. All right, we got a pending buy signal right here. Let's see, visual says short from 42,694 2-minute opening range, looking for 100 points to the downside. Let's see. So visual got in at 694. Okay, nice. Yeah, this could be a possible break and retest off that level right there. Visual, we'll see what happens here because this can create a range, like you said. Um, like this could be a possible break and retest of that area. We'll see. Price is kind of pushing up now. Let's see how far to your stop. Not sure where your stop is at, but if you're going for 100, like for a one-to-one, 100 is going to be up here, which could be okay because if you're looking for this here, price could push up and then it could possibly bounce off this area here and come right back down. We got the opening candle right here, or opening price. Yeah, we'll follow it. Obviously, I hope your trade hits, but we'll follow and see where it goes. Looks like it's starting to create a range here, so this might be the range for today. Buy signal still hasn't closed. Yeah, so we don't have a buy signal yet, guys. Once we have that buy signal, we can start looking for a possible MPSV2 to the upside. Just don't have that here yet. So we still don't have anything here yet. Looks like price is starting to consolidate here sideways. The volatility here is starting to die down a little bit. We are currently at 22 ATR. Gotcha. Visual stop got hit at break even. Yeah, all good visual. Like I said before, it's the orb entries are good like when the market's moving directional. Right now it's in a big range, so it kind of sucks for the orb because like yeah, if your orb would have continued dropping or if the price continued dropping here, like I said, the break and retest, that would have been fine, right? But because price here is in this huge range, this is where the orbs kind of struggle a little bit. Because when you try to chase it to the downside, it ends up swinging right back up. But it's good that you got out at break even. So solid work right there. We had the buy signal here close, guys. We have a possible MPSV2 setting up right here for a buy. Let me check the levels here to see if everything is still where it should be. So 58 for that's fine. 810. All right, so the value high got moved down to 810. 645. The value low is now at 645. I'll mark that down a little bit. Oh no, it's still there. 615 is the lower end. 638. Wow. All right, so we don't really have much right here down the middle. The MPS V2 is setting up right here. Hasn't like really completed, but it is starting to set up right there. I just remarked up a couple of zones right here. Looks like we're gonna go into a range, guys. Here on the 3 minute, you guys can see that the range has kind of been established within this middle area. We're in a huge range for today, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with the range. Just wanted to put it out there that we are in a range for today. So the most ideal entries to look for would be these sweeps. All right, so no MPS V2 there for a buy, possible MPS V2 here for a sell. Ideally, I think the sell here might be good. So if we get an MPS V2 right here back for a sell, it'll probably push down and then possibly another sweep from down here. Yeah, visual said I was up 58 points, but it's all good. Maybe for summer months, I have to go for 50. Yeah, because the volatility is not as crazy. It's not as high, right? So like you probably want to half that. Or you might even want to go for something in between. Like if you're going for 100, maybe go for 75. I think today's just a lower volatility day. 50 ideally is what I would go for, but if you want to keep it kind of wide, like for me, on the breakouts, I'd be going for 50, of course, because usually when the volatility is low, go for 50. If the volatility is high, go for 100. But that just hasn't been the case lately. I see the VWAP over here. I've been looking at the VWAP just to because I've kind of discovered a pattern that works with the VWAP, um, which could be good used as a good confluence. There's different ways that people use VWAPs. People use it as like a break in confirmation of structure. People use it as a trend for directional moves. People use it for basically reversal. But there's like different ways of using VWAP. Yeah, exactly. Shiv said, yeah, I do the VWAP with MPS break. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at, Shiv, and I kind of figured you were using that too. Like for example, right here, the MPS break right there. This could have been a sell entry, 50 points. So I've been looking at it. It's been hitting a lot lately. I think 4 weeks ago it was like kind of losing a little bit, but for the most part, overall, it was pretty much hitting. There's just, there's a lot of different ways to use these tools, guys. There's not just one way. You can use them for trend, you can use them for retracement, you can use them for reversals, you can use them for break and retest, you can use them for a lot of things. It just depends on how you want to use it specifically. So I wouldn't say like follow everything specifically how like one person teaches it. Just figure out how it helps you with your analysis and use it for that specific reason. Because I always see people argue about stuff like that, right? People argue about like the different tools that are there. Like people say you can only use it for like one thing. Realistically, it's not that. It's nowhere near that case. You can use it for nearly everything. All right, so there's no entries there yet. All right, no MPS V2 yet. So no MPS V2 in either direction. There's no MPS V2 here for a buy, no MPS V2 here for a sell. We have a possible buy signal here, which is pending. So if that's the case, you might get an MPS V2 to the upside. As you guys can see right here, price is just ranging sideways, right? I already notified you guys that this is what the market that we're currently in. That's why I drew this range right here. The range here is pretty much respected by the market profile. You can see over here, price is pretty much ranging between here. And it's been ranging between here for the entire day. So from market open last night up until today, price has been within this range. It's been respecting the market profile pretty nicely. So there's not really too much here to really work with. I mean, price is going to keep going sideways from this point. Um, Ideally, sweeps would be your best friend in this type of market, right? You want to be looking for sweeps in this type of market. In order for us to get a sweep, though, we need price to get on the outer edges of the market. So right now it's kind of down the middle. So I need price to kind of push up here so I could sweep back down or look for price to push down here and sweep back up. It's got to be patient, guys. There's no need to force anything, no need to rush. So I'm not really too stressed out. I'm good. I mean, I'm in profit for the week, so I'm not really going to force anything here, of course. Yeah, exactly. Shifts it plays so nicely, not always, but majority. Yeah, because for a while I was testing it like pretty much one entry per day. Uh, and it was hitting until like 1 week it started to lose a lot. And I was like, okay, this is like, obviously it's one of those, it's like every other strategy basically. Um, I just got to figure out like what causes those days that don't work. Because if I could figure that out, then, it can be another strategy that could be implemented. Kind of curious now to see how yesterday's played out. Yesterday's open. Yeah, so like yesterday's wouldn't have work played out for the entry because I would have taken this. Well, the sell would have been like right here and obviously went the opposite. Yeah, because it works a lot of the times, but it doesn't work every time. I just need to figure out like what days does it work well and what days doesn't it. I think for the most part, the trending days it doesn't really work as well, but on the ranging days it works very well. So this is considered a ranging day for us. All right, we have a possible MPS V2 to the upside. Price broke through this structure right here. So looking at this right here, we have buy signal, possible retracement, and then possible continuation back up. So what we're looking for here is buy signal, retracement, continuation up for MPS V2. Only problem with this MPS V2 is we got a ton of red flags right here. So what I'll probably do is I'll follow this MPS V2. Probably not going to take it. I'll look for the sweep to follow. The problem with this here is that if we get a sweep, there's going to be a lot of levels here for price to sweep at, right? So this is a possible MPS V2. It's going to be right into the sweep. But there's all these red flags here. So a possible sweep right here. Ideally, I'm going to look for a possible sweep from up here. I think this 810 is going to be my ideal area to catch the sweep. So if you guys want to take this MPS V2, feel free. I'll mark it up for you guys. ATR is currently at 23 right now. It's at all these red flags right now, though. We got the sessions right here, London low. We got the New York low. We got opening price. Looks like a possible sweep could be happening right here too. So it's a little bit of a messy setup right here because there could be a possible sweep and then there could be a possible MPSV2. So this is an MPSV2 currently running right now, but also a sweep that just hit right there. So I'm not in this position here. I'm not in either position. Like I said, this is a red flag right here. I don't take MPSV2s at red flags. So it looks like the sweep played through. So the sweep is already done with. And the MPSV2 looks like it's probably going to hit stop loss, which is okay because we kind of anticipated that anyways. This is why it's important to stay away from the red flags. So MPSV2 right there, full TP. And then oh no, not MPSV2 stop loss, but the sweep over here with full TP. Like I said, in this type of market, guys, where it's ranging sideways, I recommend taking sweeps instead of NPSV2s. Use the NPSV2s as confluence, but ideally you want to look for possible sweeps. The sweeps make way more sense. So ideally, I would have wanted to get into a sweep up here, but I mean, this did exactly what I mentioned earlier, right? So what I mentioned earlier is look for price to get to the farther ends of the range, and then look for the sweep. Same with this right here. I would have liked the MPSV2 to happen a little lower down here because if it happened lower, catch a sweep back down right there. All right, so we got price pushing back up as we speak. There's no MPSV2s here. Ideally, what I'd like to see here is a possible MPSV2 back down and then a sweep from back up here, right? Because I like to see sweeps followed by MPSV2s. And I also like MPSV2s not to happen around red flags, of course. So again, we got a bunch of red flags right here. If price decides to push up higher, there may be a possible sweep area from up here. This liquidity has not been tested yet. And another level up here, of course. But of course, you probably want to see an MPSV2 happen first before, before all that, which I don't know will happen anytime soon. 657 right now. In a few minutes, I'll check to see if the levels for the market profile have adjusted. I don't think they've adjusted yet, but probably should in a bit. All right, looks like price again is sweeping from that same area that we just talked about, same sweep area. All right, I'm looking for that MPSV2 to the downside. We got a pending sell signal right here. Sell signal has not closed yet. Once it closes, we'll look for possible MPSV2 to follow. All right, still hasn't closed. All right, we got another pending sell signal right here. If the sell signal closes, we'll look for a possible MPSV2 to the downside. Looks like another sweep here may have, or not yet. I mean, I guess you could, if you wanted to mark this up as a sweep, this could be another possible sweep that happened at opening price. All right, this will be ideal here if this pushes back down further. So possible sweep into an MPSV2 right here. So we have a sell signal, retracement. If this pushes down further, this will be an MPSV2 for a sell, and then possibly opportunity for sweep to follow. All right, if the buy signal closes, obviously no sweep there, or no MPSV2. All right, looks like there's not going to be a sell in PSV2 here. It looks like we might get a buy signal here, which closes, which it just did close. It's a choppy market today, guys. A lot of back and forth. Yeah, a ton of back and forth today. Looks like another possible sweep right here. Price pushed up. Let's see if it sweeps off this liquidity right there. Basically three sweeps back to back at this point. Not in this sweep. Obviously, I'm looking for my pattern to set up, looking for MPS V2 into a sweep into an MPS V2. But it looks like we might have set up for like three sweeps here. If not, this could be an MPS V2. So there's going to be a possible MPS V2 right here, guys. So it looks like the sweep there might not be playing through. The sweep that I was initially looking for up here might play through at 810. So there's an MPS V2 that might be running here. And this is going to go hand in hand with my sweep entry. Because if we have an MPS V2 to the upside right here, we're looking for it to reach my sweep area and then come back down from there. All right, this is a possible MPS V2 right here for a buy. Not in this position right here. Like I said, ideally I'd be looking for sweeps, but this looks like it could be a possible good MPS V2. Looks like a break and retest of the sessions right there. Look for a possible sweep right here at the 810. See, volatility here kind of flattened out a little bit, hit a buy signal. So the reason why I didn't look to take this MPS V2 is because it's still at a red flag. We had opening price right here. Volatility here is starting to flatten out a little bit. Let's see if there's any new zones around this area. So 780. There's a new value high right here. Possible sweep at that point. 810. This is where I'm looking to get my sweep in from. The 810 above. Again, I'm not in this MPS V2. In this type of market here, guys, ideally I would lean towards sweeps instead of MPS V2s. I would look for MPS V2s to follow if there's a sweep. There was no sweep that followed from below. So in order for me to want to take this MPSV2, I would need to see some sort of sweep from down here and then a push right back up. Like I'd like to see or for example, right here, we have a sweep. I'd look for an MPSV2 to the downside. If I had a sweep that happened right here, so say for example, price came down, swept from this area and then pushed up, I would have taken the MPSV2 there. But because there was no sweep down here, this isn't an MPSV2 that I'd be looking to take. Looks like price actually just swept right here at the value high, this red line. And that's what makes it tricky because we're in a market where sweeps are they're more likely to happen versus MPSV2s. So let me just take this off real quick. And it looks like the sweep actually happened right here at that red line that I drew. That's the value high, which is right here at 42,780. It's a tricky market, guys, but like I said, in this type of ranging market, because the market has already established its range, the range is happening between this area right here. Um, for me, ideally, I don't want to trade within the range. I don't want to trade outside of it. I want to trade within it. So sweeps are, for the most part, what I'd be looking to take here. Although I wouldn't take this upper sweep up here. I mean, this level I wasn't ready to take that sweep once I saw it. I was trying to get the sweep from up here. All right. So ideally, what I'd like to, or I wanted to see here is I wanted price to push up and then sweep from here and come back down. This sweep area is a little too close for me, so I didn't decide to take this area where it's currently sweeping from. I mean, this could still push up, right? There's no guarantee that this is going to be the actual sweep area. The sweep area can be right here. Looks like this MPSV2 is probably still running right now. Yeah, so the NPSV2 is still technically running right now. It's pushing up right there. So there you go, full TP on that NPSV2. Let me see if I can maybe get into the sweep right here. It's at 810. All right, let's see if I get into the sweep right here. That was a big spike though. Let me see if there's any news here causing that big spike. 'Cause if there's a news event, then I'm not going to get into that sweep there, of course. So it says stocks fall as Trump threatens unilateral tariffs. Okay, so stocks slid Thursday as US President Donald Trump threatened setting unilateral tariffs on trading partners in 2 weeks. All right, I guess we'll see. I mean, here we go with Trump again, scaring people. What do they call it? Taco. Trump always, I forgot what it was, Taco. Trump always backs out. Something like that. I don't really see any news here right now, so I was trying to figure out like what pushed price up like that right there, because price pushed up pretty hard. Um, but there goes the NPSV2. So we have NPSV2. I'm looking for the possible sweep right here. I have my pending limit order up here at the 810. If it doesn't push up to fill it, I'm just going to cancel it. There's no need to just keep it sitting there at all times. I'll put it back on later if necessary, but the sweep here hasn't filled yet. Nice. So Sam actually got the sweep already. Nice work right there, Sam. Chickens out. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Lila. Yeah, so Taco Trump always chickens out. This is going to be another taco situation. It seems like Trump is threatening, but when it comes time to actually implement it, he's probably going to chicken out, of course. So we'll see. All right, my order hasn't gotten filled yet. Again, I'm trying to get into a sweep up here. All right, right, price is coming back down, so I'll probably have to cancel it. Yeah. All right, well, the MPS V2 played out right there. So if you guys caught that MPS V2, nice work, guys. If you guys didn't, it's completely fine. It's not one that I would have taken because obvious reasons, but does not look like my sweep here is going to get filled up top. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. So I've canceled my upwards, my sweep right there at 810. If it comes back up, I'll probably put it back on. Order canceled. I just canceled it right there. Oh, God. I hate summer markets. Summer markets are, they're always a little tricky. A lot of choppiness, a lot of uncertainty. We got close to my fill there, but it didn't actually fill. So fortunately, nothing there. All right, so pushing back up right here to that 810. I mean, it looks like a sweep might have happened right here. There's no new levels though. 780, 810. So 810 is up here, 780 is down here. All right, looks like price is just starting to consolidate around this area, which is fine. Justin said, pick up 3 nice moves in and out today. Thanks, bro. See you tomorrow. Definitely, Justin. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Nice work unlocking in those 3 Ws for the day. All right, so looking at our setups over here, guys, we had a couple of setups that came up. They weren't really like in order. They're kind of just a lot of them overlapped here, especially for the sweeps. So we had an MPS V2 right here for a sell that hit full TP for 20 points. Sweep right here at the bottom, full TP. Sweep right here, another sweep. MPS V2 came up right here, and then I was looking for another sweep to happen up here. Um, the volatility here is starting to die down again. This is very similar to what happened yesterday. If you guys remembered, I was in a position for a sweep. I held on to that position for about 25 minutes. I ended up moving my stop loss and profit towards, the 30-minute mark, and then I got out for a small profit. Today, there just hasn't been very many entries. I mean, there's been some setups here, but not really very many entries here to kind of follow through. There's a possible sweep right here, actually. So it looks like price came down and then it swept from this area right here from, we'll say, the point of control. So what I'm trying to do here is, I know these aren't entries that I took, but I'm trying to identify the storyline basically for the market right now. I mean, we're currently in a ranging market, so we had a possible sweep, MPS V2 sweep. Technically, there should be like another MPS V2 here, but the sweep that I'm looking for is going to be right here on the 810. See, fuck, I missed it. Damn it, I missed it. All right, so let's see if I get in right here. So I got in right here. I'm probably gonna have to go for 20 because I'm gonna mark up where the 20 is at. If this stops me out, it's fine. I'm actually holding it for 30 right now. So let's see. I'll keep it at 30 for now because that's typically where my risk is set up. If I want to change this to 20, I can always change it to 20. It's just the volatility right now is kind of all over the place. So I'll put a line right here so I can identify where that 20 is at. Yeah, but again, I'm taking a third of my risk. every trade I'm taking, guys, is just a third of my risk, so I'm not really risking too much. This allows me to take multiple entries. So if this stops me out, I can get in for a higher sweep, which would be somewhere around here. So if I do lose this trade, it's fine. I can get in like maybe around the sessions up here. But this sweep over here did line up pretty nicely. So I'm hoping it does come back down, but if not, I have other opportunities here to get in for another sweep. Price starting to push up a little bit, but the volatility here is not very consistent. It's kind of slow. If this hits around like 5 minutes and it starts to consolidate in range like it did yesterday, I'm probably just going to move stop loss and profit like we did with yesterday's entry. I don't want to hold on to this for 25 minutes like we did yesterday. That was just way too long. Yeah, so I portioned out my risk a lot, guys. Last couple months, I portioned out my risk to about like two trades, so half my risk. Um, for this month, actually, I cut it in three. So each entry here, I've basically divided my risk into three different entries. So I'm not going to make as much profit, but I'm also not going to lose a lot per trade. It allows me to take more entries per day. And I mean, a lot of times I just end up breaking even anyway, so it's not like anything huge. Like for this week so far, I think I'm like slightly in profit because we had a win on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. Uh, Yesterday was a slight profit. I had stopped out on that one. It's all good. So stop out on that one. Possible. I'm gonna try to get back in somewhere else over here so I could get a possible basically break even at this point. I'm not gonna sweep from there. This right here should have been a good entry. I mean, ideally the everything kind of lined up as a nice entry, but obviously it didn't. So we had liquidity there. Price broke right past the liquidity. It's pushing up higher. There's another level of liquidity here. The next level that I look for possible sweep would be maybe right here at the 54. So let me see if I can maybe, I'm going to hold off on that. Price is actually pushing further. See if there's any other levels up here. See, this is the problem when there's too many levels up here is that there's going to be a lot of different areas of sweep. So there could be a possible sweep area right here, possible sweep area right here, or if price pushes up any higher, possible sweep areas up here as well. Um, so I'll follow it right here to see where it's at. So if this sweep over here doesn't hit mine, I'll be looking for, let's see. I'm looking for an area to sweep, but there's just there's too many areas here. So there's a possible sweep right here at the sessions. There may be an upper level right there. This is a V1 variation pattern, so this might be a reversal pattern back to the downside. Tempted to get back in right here at the sessions, but I don't want to get in just yet. Trying to figure out a better sweep area might be up here at the 76. See, here's the thing. It's either I get in at a better sweep area right here, or if I get in right here, this might be a little too early. It's either I'm going to miss the entry if it doesn't sweep up here, or if I do take it from here, it puts me at risk because price can actually push up higher, get close to my stop loss again, and then sweep from this point down here. But yeah, it's mixed volatility because right here we had a pretty slow market, and then all of a sudden price started just spiking up very quickly. This was my entry right here earlier, trying to get in from this point of control, or not point of control, from the value high actually. The value high here actually got pushed up a little higher, so it's now at, let's see, 54. All right, so the next sweep area is going to be up here. The original sweep was 810. This is now at 55. So the value high is actually, it's right here. It's right at the sessions. So the next possible sweep area would be right here at the 75. I'll be watching for it to see if next level is going to be at 92. All right, let me put this. I'm just going to mark up these different confluence areas so I can see if there's like a better area for entry for sweep. So we have a possible sweep area up here. There's just too many sweep areas. So this is where it gets confusing because we have a possible sweep area right here, which is what I'm looking for. The next possible sweep area is going to be up here because we have the point of control, which is like right down the middle. This is yesterday's point of control, I believe. Yeah, from the 11th. So I'll put it over here, 611 point of control. All right, we'll see what happens here. It looks like we went from a pretty choppy market into a directional market. So it looks like price is trying to push up, but it looks like it's overextended at this point. It's pushed up quite a bit, and it looks like it's ready for some sort of sweep. Again, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to get in for a sweep right here or if I want to get in for a sweep a little bit higher. The volatility here is kind of flattened out a little bit. There's no MPS V2s here right now. All right, so my sweep area here still hasn't gotten pushed up to it. Um, Price is like pretty much flattening out right here. All right. So this is the first possible sweep area. Again, I'm not looking to get in just yet. I kind of want to see how price reacts to the area first. If anything, I might get in for an MPS V2 that swings the other way. Just trying to read the price action here. Yeah, I'm not going to get in right here yet because it looks like so this is where it kind of throws me off a little bit. See how these candles here kind of flattened out a little bit? So we slow down here for a bit. We slow down for about like 5 or 6 candles, and all of a sudden a big candle kind of pops up right here. Um, that's exactly what happened with my sweep earlier right here. So I took the sweep and then market was kind of going slow here. So I figured if price was going slow here, it's going to fill my sweep and then come back down, right? Didn't end up doing that. Price ended up pushing right through it, shooting right through. Um, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this here, this sweep was a little bit of a tricky one because there was a sweep that already happened right here. So it kind of didn't line up with my play. Kind of similar to this right here. This isn't really lining up with my play because there's no MPSV2 that happened before it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna watch this here. Possibly, I'm probably gonna watch this play out as a sweep, and if it plays out as a sweep, I'll take the MPSV2 back down because I'm trying to follow the pattern here. But the thing is, there's so many entries that just overlap each other. Like we had sweep, sweep, MPSV2, sweep, and then another possible sweep here that I try to get into. It was a good sweep level though because it lined up with the value high and then the liquidity. And now we have these upper levels right here. So we have this sweep that's currently running. Um, if this here hits, I'll look for an NPSV2 to follow, and then I'll write it down from there. It's too late for me to enter the sweep anyway, so there's no way I could get into the sweep if I wanted to. So it looks like price is going to try to sweep off this value high right here on the 30 minute. If that's the case, then great. I'll look for a possible MPSV2 to follow it. Man, these summer markets always throw me off. It's like earlier in the week, the market looked really good. If you guys saw the entries that we had earlier this week, there was a ton of entries that came up. Today's actually one of the slower days out of all of them. So these were the entries from Monday. Yeah, so from Monday, these were the entries. They were pretty follow through. They followed right after each other. And then the entries from Tuesday, there was a whole bunch of them too. Like this was actually a ranging market, but it was actually pretty smooth. Trades from yesterday, not too bad. These kind of followed up after each other. Yesterday was a little more choppy. It was nicer in the beginning, and then it started to get kind of choppy towards the end. And then here's the market for today. You guys can see there's not really too many entries here. Market opened up. There's a quick MPSV2 to sweep, and then over here sweep, sweep, MPSV2 sweep, and then they kind of kept following up on each other. So this sweep over here looks like it's not actually sweeping. Like I said, there's another level up here. Or let me see if 20 might have hit for that one. Looks like 20 might have played through. Yeah, so 20 actually hit on this one. There's a new level of sweep that may happen up here now. But it just doesn't follow what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the MPSV2 to follow it. So it's not really a strong sweep area. All right. I was hoping there'd be an MPSV2 to follow, but it looks like there's going to be maybe another sweep as price pushes up higher. I mean, the sweep might just happen right here at the point of control. So this black line right here might be the sweep area. I'm looking for a strong sweep though. So what I want to see is I want to see price like really sweep below and then provide it an MPSV2 down here, right? I'd like to take my entry down here back to open. Um, Here's another possible sweep area right there off the point of control price. This is a point of control from yesterday, 892. Value high from yesterday, 975. This one's pretty far up. Yeah, exactly. Sam said 18 ATR, watch your TP. Yeah, the ATR is starting to drop down a little bit, so it's probably gonna have to go for, I mean, the 30 is probably too far out. 20s might have to be the number. Nice. So Sam actually took some A plus pluses earlier. Sam took the A plus plus and MPSV2 for full TPs. Nice work, Sam. Just saw your messages right now. Again, we have a possible sweep level right here. Of course, I'm looking for, I'm looking for this here to provide opportunity for MPS V2, but we just haven't had that yet in the opposite direction, of course. So what I'm looking for is a sweep and then MPS V2 to continue that direction. Um, the A plus pluses over here have kind of played through a bit. So there's MPS V2 sweep A plus plus right there. You know what? Now that I've looked at this right here, this would have been a good A plus plus. So I think this is where I have to kind of pay attention to it a little more as well, guys, is when there's an MPS V2, look for a possible sweep and a continuation further, right? Because we still could factor in the A plus pluses. So like, for example, MPS V2 sweep A plus plus. Um, there's obviously no MPSV2s here, but looking at this right now, there's a possible sweep, sweep, and I'd look for MPSV2 and then possibly an A++ after it. So double sweeps right here, and then we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens next. All right, there's no confirmation here yet. Still looking. All right, looks like we have a sweep here that played through. So the sweep right there played through. I mean, of course, every other sweep has is hitting over here. Uh, so we had a sweep right here, which was at the liquidity, and we have a sweep right here, which is at the point of control. And then now I'm looking for a possible MPSV2 to the downside. So I'm looking for this here to push down lower. This market is just, it's not consistent. All right. So we had a pending sell signal there. I'm looking for this to follow through. There hasn't been any follow through here. If you've been looking at like how these entries have been coming up, we have like back-to-back sweeps, like sweep, sweep, no MPSV2 to follow. What we want to see here is you want to see a sweep and then MPSV2 to follow right after. Or if we get a sweep from the downside, MPSV2 to follow from there. All right, we don't really have anything going on here. Market's kind of sitting flat now. We got price pushing up, no sell signal. So it doesn't look like we're having an MPSV2 to follow. All right, still nothing here. I mean, price might push up and then even sweep off this upper level right here. So there's another possible opportunity for sweep right here. But no MPSV2, which is what I'm looking for. All right, we got nothing going on here, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. But you guys can see over here, it is nothing's really happening at all. All right, no sweep here. No sweep, no MPSV2. The market's like pretty much dead right now. ATR is currently at 16, and there's not really much happening here. I really got to start taking these entries earlier. I think it's just the market when it starts to flatten out, it really starts to flatten out. Like after 7 o'clock, the market just kind of gets really flat. I mean, there's entries here that came up, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, it really starts to get really slow. What I'm kind of curious now is to like look at something that moves a little faster, like NQ. Just want to see if the sweeps were happening better on something like NQ, or if it's the same thing. NQ is actually ranging right now too. There's a little more volatility here, but it looks like NQ is also kind of just ranging here. Just want to see if there's any sweep areas that could have been looked at. I mean, possible sweep right here. Possible sweep right there. We're gonna flop. Flop. No, I mean, looking at like, I guess the sweeps might be able to hit more on like NQ because they do kind of move a little faster. The same difference though. Looks like both the markets are kind of moving very similar. I've been a loss. Yeah, I don't think it makes a huge difference going between NQ and YM. YM is just a lot slower. Uh, but either way, like the entries are still coming up same difference. So looking at this again right here, guys, another possible sweep area that I talked about right now. There's two different areas of sweep. So I had a bunch of different levels here that were marked up. I said there was a possible sweep right here, possible sweep down here, possible sweep right here, and then a possible sweep up here. There's just not as many confluences up here. If anything, this would be an ideal sweep area. But this right here is another sweep that's possibly playing through. ATR is currently at 16, so you probably would want to go for a 20. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get an MPSV2 here, guys, unfortunately. I've been waiting for this MPSV2 to come up, but it just not it doesn't look like it's gonna come up because the volatility's so low. It's low and it's staying low. It's not it's not picking up at all. I mean, we'll keep looking, but we'll see. All right, not much going on here. All right, we'll see if this sweep ends up playing through. If it doesn't play through, then again, we're just waiting. All right, volatility is still pretty flat, guys. Again, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. There's really nothing here to look at the moment. It's still kind of just going sideways at the moment. Volatility here is pretty flat, not really too much to work with. Looking at the PPI news from this morning, let me see. PPI news was a little bit mixed. We had continuing jobless claims, which was negative. Pretty much all the jobs data was negative. PPI over here was like slightly negative, not super negative, but a little bit. But it doesn't matter because even though all the news here was negative, you can see where price is at. It actually did the opposite and pushed up. So here we go with another sweep. So the sweep here played out again, guys. One more sweep. This could actually start to set up for an MPSV2 if that sell signal would close. So if this sell signal here closes, this could possibly set up for an MPSV2 to the downside. Pending sell signal right there. All right, we got the pending sell signal here again. See, Sam said for him, one sweep, four MPSV2s, five wins and one loss. Nice work, Sam. The sweeps are hitting though, so you can see like pretty much every level of sweep here. Unfortunately, like it seems like I keep getting the unlucky one, right? The unlucky sweep that I caught right here is the only one that lost. Every other sweep here hit. So this sweep over here I took, unfortunately lost. And then this one over here hit, this one over here hit, and this one over here hit. Now I'm looking for a possible MPSV2 to the downside, but we need a sell signal here for that to kind of play through. And it's like horrible luck for me because everything else is pretty much hitting. It's like I get that one entry that looks really good and the setup is perfect, but that's the only one that shoots right through and doesn't actually play. Everything else over here, it looks like it's the same setup too. It's like we had a slow build up to this setup right here, and then it still pushed through. We had a slow build up to this setup, and it hit. Slow setups hit. Slow setup, and it just hit right here as well. I'm now looking for a possible MPSV2, so I was looking for a sweep to happen here, then a possible MPSV2 back down, so I can maybe ride this back down into profit. But not sure if we're gonna get that here, unfortunately. I mean, we'll keep looking, but for the most part, it's for the most part, it's not really looking too bright. Yeah, Christian said, yeah, one loss for him. He's calling it. Come back tomorrow fresh. Yeah, there's just nothing here to take, guys. If you guys want to wrap it up for the day, feel free. I'll probably be wrapping it up pretty soon too. I'm still waiting to see if there's any follow-up opportunities here for entry, but there's just nothing here. There's no there's no MPSV2s to follow. The sell signal still hasn't closed. The sweeps here are pretty much done with. There's no other sweeps here that are nearby. The next sweep area is going to be from up here, but this is kind of farther up. So the next opportunity for sweep would be like right here. I was hoping to get an MPSV2 right here, but it's not looking like we're going to get it. All right, not much going on, guys. Still going sideways. All right, we got price pushing back up higher. So it's not looking like we're getting a MPSV2 today, guys. Looks like price is still pushing up higher. Let's see. Sam said, yeah, today's price action suddenly turned bullish and trending. This China trade stuff is all a mess thing. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Sam. Sam says, Sean, after China trade talks, where does YM stand? I mean, YM's always going to be bullish. So you should just always think that, like long term, YM should always be bullish. Because the thing is, if YM isn't bullish, they're just going to switch out the bad stocks for the good stocks. So ideally, I mean, if you're looking at it from a long-term perspective, it should always be bullish. It's just that when you get the jobs data and stuff like that, it kind of pushes it down a little bit. So if you look over here on the higher time frames, we'll look at the 1 hour time frame here. So if you look over here, I mean, it'll tend to like drop, like, we'll have like some sort of drop, like for example, over here in May, we had like the tariff stuff, right? So you'll see it drop a little bit and then it corrects back up. Drops a little bit, corrects back up, drops a little bit, corrects back up. We had a little bit of the news from today and from this week with China, like you said, news dropped a little bit and it came right back up. So ideally, after you see some sort of bearish drop, you should see some sort of bullish correction for YM. Because YM is always evolving. It's an asset that's always looking for some sort of bullish correction. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes the bearish drop just keeps dropping, but you can see here, if you look just at historical data, this is all from this year, basically. This is when the initial tariff stuff happened. So in April, March, this is the initial tariff stuff. It dropped like quite a bit, and then it corrected right back up. And then it corrected a bunch right here, and then right here. It's basically every month or every couple weeks, we have some sort of tariff news that comes out that's like really big, and it causes a big drop. So like the big drop happened here, and then you can see the correction happen. And then every couple, like, so for example, this was early April, right? And then they had something over here where he started doing the unilateral tariffs. And like, okay, then it kind of screwed with the market, pushed it right back up. And then same with this right here. I don't think so the thing with the China talk deals, I don't think the actual information has came out yet, right? If you look at the data from like what came out with the China talks, basically Trump said that there's a deal in place, but he didn't necessarily say exactly what. Like he doesn't say what we're giving up and what they're giving up. He just said that they're going to be giving us like um, precious metals or whatever. So I mean, we'll just have to kind of see how this plays through. But it looks like, the correction is obviously happening right here. The correction that I wasn't really expecting. Like we had the push up right here, but then I wasn't expecting it to actually continue up higher, how it's continuing up right now. The uh the push up is still pushing. There's these little sweeps that are happening in between, but the push-up is still happening here. Yeah, let's see. Sam said, so with Trump 55% tariff and asking every company to make in USA cost of goods expensive, why will not? So the thing is, like, if you've noticed it, the tariff stuff hasn't really kicked in, if you've noticed. I mean, I've been buying stuff like every day. So like I've been paying attention to prices. Um, the thing is that the cost gets it gets it either there's three different ways of it working. Like it either gets carried off to the consumer or the retailer will like eat the expenses or the manufacturer will eat the expenses, right? The tariffs are being um implemented on the manufacturers. So like the thing is a lot of these manufacturers don't want to, mess up relationship with the retailer. So what they're doing is they're eating up the cost and the retailers are still selling stuff at like normal price. So the thing that you have to think about is that YM is it's not all retail, right? If you look at the stock index for YM, it's not all retail. So let me see. I'll see if I can pull it up for you. Yeah, it's not all retail. So like obviously the stuff that's retail is going to get affected, right? Like if you look over here, there's like certain companies here that are going to be affected. Not all of them are going to be affected. Like Visa is not going to get affected, right? So there's a lot of different things to look at it. But I mean, if you look at like what's actually been happening, a lot of people have been scared and they've been thinking like, oh, the tariffs are going to come in and I'm going to pay like $30 more on top. If you think about the numbers, it hasn't really risen that much. It's just a lot of scare in the market. So I don't think like the tariffs are really going to be something that is affecting the market. It's just you got to read what like Trump's headlines are. Because the thing is, the tariffs that we were talking about with the like the whole China trade deal that you were talking about right now, that wasn't about the regular tariffs. That was about the precious metals, right? They're pretty much negotiating that and like other stuff, not the stuff that you're thinking. Like it's not the main tariffs that people are worried about. It's like the stuff that the government's worried about because they're paying for the precious metals and stuff like that. I was trying to look up the article here, but it's not here right now. But the whole trade talk with China, that wasn't what a lot of people were thinking about. It's not about goods, it's about the precious metals that we're pretty much buying from them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rare earth magnets and all, which are important, but they're not like it's not the stuff that's going to get carried over to the consumer. And a lot of these indexes here, these are all consumer indexes. So yeah, I mean, wait for the actual stuff to come out because there's going to be more stuff about, the regular tariff stuff a little later in the year. It's just right now they're talking about other stuff, which has to do with the military, of course, because we need metals and magnets for bombs and stuff, right? Bombs, planes, that's sort of the matter. But all right, guys, I think this might be it for the day. It's 7:54. Nothing's really happened here. Price has been going back and forth for the past, 10, 15 minutes. My MPSV2 unfortunately didn't come up. I took one trade for the day, which was a loss right here. It's fine. I took it for a small risk. Like I said, I have my risk into three, so I'm not really making a lot of profit as I usually am. And I'm also not losing a lot. So it's kind of like a toss-up for me for the most part. So. All right, guys, I'll take a screenshot of this real quick and then I'll post this into the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up in a few. So I took a loss right there, 30 points. All right, so there goes the setup. I'll try to remember to post this up so that you guys can see the difference between the days. Today obviously wasn't as many entries. We had a couple entries right here. A lot of them overlap, so they weren't really like a good setup to follow, but I mean, there's a ton of overlapping here. MPSV2 to sweep, 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 MPSV2 to sweep, MPSV2 to sweep, sweep, sweep. So three sweeps right here. But it's all good. It's just one of those days where like a lot of entries didn't really come up right after each other. A lot of them mostly overlap because we had a lot of a ranging market here and prices going back into a range. So, all right, guys, ATR is currently at 13. I really don't recommend trading right now. Just come back tomorrow fresh. Market's not really doing much, so you're probably not going to be able to get any good entries. So, all right, guys, if there's any questions, hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.